Hey everyone, welcome to This is the Cruise. I'm Clint, and today we're going to be talking about how I rate cruise itineraries. How do you somewhat objectively look at an itinerary and decide this one is better than that one? Obviously, this is somewhat personal, but I thought, as I go forward and review itineraries, that I should at least establish a baseline for how I operate, how I work, and what I consider. All right, so stay tuned. Let's dig in and let's find out. Real quick before we get started, I would appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's going to help me out, of course, and it will keep that content coming. So let's get started. All right, the first thing that we need to really consider here are the categories of cruise lines. And there's a couple of reasons why this matters. The bigger the cruise ship means the fewer, more boutique and unique places that it can go, simply because they're too big to get into the port, and those areas may actually restrict the number of cruise passengers that can come through in a day. The other thing that is at play is sometimes what you do on the ship will be more important than what you could do at a stop. So you may have, say, 4 great stops and 1 stop on an itinerary that you really don't care that much about. Well, if you're going to stay on the ship, those are oftentimes the best time to stay on the ship, right? Because everybody's getting off. So the restaurants will be less full, the spa will be more available, the pool will be have less people at it. You can get that lounge chair that you want, or maybe take and do one of the ropes courses or flow riders or, zip lines or roller coaster or go-kart racing. All these activities that you could do on the ship are often best done when the ship is in port. So let's talk about the 4 kind of different cruise line categories. You have your resort style cruise lines. Really sort of the distinction here is that the cruise ship itself is as much a destination, or often as much a destination, as the ports where you're going. Those resort style cruise lines are going to be your Carnival, Norwegian, MSC cruise line from Italy, and then like Royal Caribbean. Those are kind of your prime resort styles. I know that there are some European resort, P&O, Costa as well. Premium cruise lines will be your next cruise line category. Princess, Celebrity, Holland America, I would even put Disney in there, are really good examples of premium. The next category are your luxury and your ultra luxury lines. Those are going to be smaller ships of sub 1,500 in the luxury and sub 500 essentially in the ultra luxury. We always want to keep in mind the cruise line style itself, because that really is a factor in the itinerary, as well as what you can do in and around the itinerary. Okay, so an itinerary score is made up of 2 parts. Each one can be up to 5 points, giving us a total itinerary score of 10. The first part of that, the first 5 points, can be gained by variety. How much variation is there within the stops themselves? Is the landscape the same from stop A to stop B? Or do the ports have the same sort of feel? Are we looking at the same country with the same culture? If those are the same, then we're reducing our variety score, and you're going to get less out of the itinerary. One of the benefits of cruising is to see as much variety as you can over your vacation time. The other way we deduct points are for sea days. So you're kind of targeting a 2-to-1 ratio, 1 sea day for every 3 days of cruising. That's sort of the target. Okay, so the second consideration that we have when it comes to the itinerary score is taking into account for places that you've already been. So this is the repeatability score. How often can I go back to this port and do something new? Taking a look at the Caribbean, for example, you could spend a day relaxing at the beach. You could spend a day snorkeling in some of the best snorkeling places in the world. Or we could spend a day exploring an interesting city, walking around and having a more cultural experience. Some ports are really strong at one thing, but not great at others. And so you sort of run out of new things to do. And that means that unless your passion is that one thing, the repeatability is reduced. The score is reduced with those types of ports. So the score calculation is really simple. We take the variety score plus the repeatability score, and that gives us our itinerary score out of 10. The repeatability score, though, is really influenced by the style rating, which is one of, I think, the most interesting aspects of how I look at cruises and how I think, you can look at a cruise too. All right, so before I discuss our style ratings, just take a second. I would really, really appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out as I try to build a subscriber base, and I'd really appreciate it. So if you find the content helpful, yeah, thank you very much. All right, so the style ratings. I break the style ratings down into 3 primary categories. There's an adventure category. These are going to be things that you get into nature and you're active, right? You're hiking or snorkeling or doing some kind of water sports or going spelunking through waterfalls. Anything where you're really moving around and doing something adventurous. Another style that we look at is enrichment. What are you getting or giving back? Are you learning something new about a culture? Are you learning something new about the ecology of an area? Doing some history or city tours? There are some where you actually have the opportunity to do some volunteer work and give back to the community. There's some community service types of excursions and things that you can either book on your own or you can do through the ship, which are really great ways to dig deeper into these places that we visit. Finally, and really, most of us go on vacations, right, to relax. We want to go get away, decompress, set the stress of our job aside, and really just enjoy the moment. When I look at a relaxation score, it doesn't just mean that I can get away. It also means that I can get away and really not be bothered. There are some great beaches in and around the world where they're either so busy you're never going to really find a quiet place, or you're going to be bothered by salespeople, guys coming trying to sell their wares on the beach. And so don't be fooled that just because the beaches are nice that they're also going to be relaxing. So that is one of the things that comes into account. Other stops may have some private resort options where you can actually rent a room overlooking the ocean that's private. And those are fine, but oftentimes come with an added cost. And to me, that's not as relaxing. So I don't put as much weight into those for the relaxation score. Okay. So what do we have here? We have to determine the type of cruise, the cruise category that we're going to do. Is it a premium? Is it a resort cruise? Are we going to do something splurge and do something more luxurious? Are we bringing our family on this? Which really helps us sort of figure out what type of cruise category we're going to be going on. Some cruises are better for kids than others simply because of what they do with the ship and on the ship. And then really this is the key part here of the channel is what amount of variety does the itinerary offer for me and maybe my family? Have I been to these stops before? If I have, was there enough variety, enough things for me to do? And then, did I enjoy my last stop, my last time that I visited this place that I really can't wait to do it again? So knowing what I want most out of the cruise is really a key factor. Am I looking for an adventure? Am I looking for enrichment, relaxation, or maybe I want a bit of a balance to those things? And sometimes an itinerary offers those styles or types of activities in a certain order. Maybe I want to start out with something enriching because I don't have energy after 6 months of hard work and I'm now on a vacation. I just need to relax for a minute. So we do something enriching, then we move into something adventurous, and then we cap it off with a relaxing destination. So looking at the itineraries to determine what I want to get most out of the experience is really key. So really, thank you very much for watching. That's the gist of it and the lens that we're going to be looking at as we move through these itineraries that cruise lines are putting out. Some of them are absolutely fantastic. Even the ones that you may have cruised multiple times offer something new. And so I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you take a second to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And thank you again for watching. We'll talk soon.